Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this update webinar on regulatory procedure management for product lifecycle management on IRIS. I'm Katerina, and I'm part of the change management team for the regulatory procedure management transition to IRIS. And today I am with Madalina, the product owner for this project, and Sara Santos, subject matter expert for this project. And just as some housekeeping rules. So first of all, please note that this session is being recorded so that you will be able to rewatch it both on the webpage on EMA corporate website and on EMA YouTube channel. At certain point for the sessions, you will be able to ask questions or give your input via the audience interaction tool Slido. We will provide you further details in a minute on that. Concerning the agenda, first of all, Madalina will guide you through the current progress of the project and the updated roadmap for regulatory procedure management transition to IRIS. Then she will focus on the key impacts and actions needed from pharmaceutical industry. Then after that, we will go in a more practical part. So Sara Santos will introduce you to the new PSURs in IRIS, so the process you will be following to for the PSUR procedures in IRIS, and then she will perform a demo of the industry portal. Then she will explain you the next steps for you, so what we have planned for you this year. And then we will have the usual Q&A session where you will use Slido. And of course, we will close the session, hoping that you have enjoyed it. Then, concerning Slido, as I said, you will be able to ask questions and also at the end of the session provide your feedback on how it went by connecting to slido.com and entering this code, so hashtag RPM update. Otherwise, you can just join the other QR code that you find in this slide. In Slido, you can insert your questions, which will be visible to everyone. And if among already asked questions, you see some that you also have, you would like to be answered, you can just like them, because after we will respond in order of most upvoted questions. So the questions with more likes will get a response sooner. And we will in the Q&A session, we will share our screen and show the questions and respond live. After that, I leave the floor to Madalina for the first point in our agenda. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for attending this session. Together with my colleagues, as Katerina already explained, we are going to walk you through the updates of the regulatory procedure management implementation into IRIS, and you will also have a demo of the latest procedures we are developing. Just for you to have some insight ahead of production deployment, which is going to be in 2025. But I'm going to go back to that a little bit later. Now, I'm starting with a bit of introduction. For sure, you have seen and heard about IRIS since a while. And this is because we have started already development and learning about the platform back in 2018. In 2022, the regulatory procedure management started implementation for the life cycle. We started with few procedures, variations for veterinary and human domain, Article 61.3 notification and marketing authorization transfers. And now we are continuing with other procedures as well. So till 2025, we plan to have all the post-authorization procedures implemented. And afterwards, we will continue with the remaining marketing authorization application and other also small procedures and integrations and improvements. As you know, we are already live, and I'm going to explain you a little bit about that. We are live with a small sample of products, around 111, 12, something like that, which have a simple life cycle because we want to have a controlled transition. We want to learn about the processes we generated and we are working on. These are variations, Article 61.3 notifications and transfers of marketing authorizations, to see how the system behaves, what are the dependencies, if there's something we need to improve when we will be live at a larger scale with all the post-authorization processes set for 2025. We are planning also to add on those products, and that's going to be explained in the next slides. As explained and as already discussed, this is where we are now after a first rollout. In the next slide is going to depict also the fact that we want to have in July this year, so in a month or less than a month, more products on the platform, just to have a better understanding, learn about other types or various variations, more complex probably. This is what we aim. So in July, we'll have a second rollout of probably around 50 products. We need to confirm them just this week. If you're concerned by this change, you are already in discussion with us and will be contacted to confirm the final products. In September, we will have user acceptance testing with internally at EMA, but also externally with the industry and the network subject matter experts for our the remaining procedures which are not yet in production. So to prepare for having all the post-authorization procedures already live in January 2025 in preparation for the new fee regulation implementation. In the next slide, I will just walk you through the roadmap. The first swim lane regards the first batch of processes, which I mentioned, or the variations, Article 61.3 notification and marketing authorization transfers for vet and human products. We are now live with the subset of products with simple life cycles. Now we are focusing on developing the rest of post-authorization procedures. Sarah will demo today the PSUR, but we have done some demos, and we for variations and other all the variations applicable in the past. So you could find them in past webinars. So this is like what we are going to show you is just PSUR to to update you on the progress on the platform. So and in September, as mentioned, we have the testing to be ready for go live, or to be ready for the new fee regulation kicking in on 1st of January 2025. And the EPIC 3 here boxed reflects the rest of the procedures for the life cycle, which is mostly some pre-authorization processes and marketing authorization application. With this, I would like to go to the key impacts and actions for the marketing authorization holders. This is a very important part of the presentation. So maybe if I have all your full attention, would be something which would benefit everyone. Till the next webinar, we won't have probably the chance to have such in detail discussion, and this would benefit also the question and answer. So the key impacts for the marketing, for the industry, for the marketing authorization holders are concerning mostly the post-submission phase. So what stays the same is the fact that the submission manner and modality stays as is. So it's going to be ECTD, VNIS, via the gateways or repositories as applicable. This doesn't get changed. The timelines and the notifications you get today, they are staying the same. However, the system sending them, or the way we see them, is going to be different, and that's going to be also more clear when Sarah will present PSUR, which is on the backbone of the other procedures, so it's more or less similar. Now, withdrawals of single scopes in a group variation, for example, is still done by email. The receipt of the European Commission decision will be performed via UDRA link for the time being. The content of documentation and guarantee of confidentiality, of course, it's something we are keeping the same, because that's our one of our key goals. But now the more interesting part would be on the changes for the industry users in the next slide. You are already familiar that IRIS has a different way of numbering the procedure number, so that's a more simplified way. It has, except of variations, it has similar codes in the bold part as the procedure number you are used to. We're going to, in the future, also or maybe have a list with all the short names for the other procedures. But as you can see, there's less information in the procedure number compared to today. However, today we have a we have portal at your disposal for the industry. It's called IRIS Industry Portal. You will see there the status of your procedure and many other details, the products involved, timetables, the scopes, everything will be accessible and in real time, updated. The next part which will change would be the EMA communication format. We will send emails which are many times more generic, referring to documents you will receive in the portal. And these emails, what is very important is to reply without changing the subject. You usually get instructions in the email, because we need to have them again back in the case, so that the case manager is receiving the information as it should. Document exchange will be from now on only on the portal, so we are not going to have any attachments or any UDRA links sent to you, and we expect the same. If there is a document outside ECTD, this will be submitted via the portal. EMA receives a notification, and this is how it's going to ensure enhanced security, I would say. Another part, which I'm going to go in detail a little bit, also for the contact person for centrally approved products, but also for the nationally approved products, because IRIS will be used for EMA-led procedures, which means all the life cycle of the centrally approved products, but also other EMA-led procedures like PSUR, referral passes, when they include nationally approved products also. So coming back to the contact person, as you know, for centrally approved products, each product has a contact recorded in our database called Simon. And this is used for communication regarding procedures. So this contact, irrespective of the application form contact you are able to choose differently, we will set the contact of the product the same for us in the portal for the case, so that submission in the portal, and this contact will have the freedom to change and add other contacts. I will go a little bit in detail in a moment. What is also very important is that the lead product for work sharing procedures needs to be identified at the moment of the letter you send to the email to request the PSUR, the work sharing number, and ideally it should be also included in the cover letter of the procedure. And something which is streamlined is the procedure withdrawal. When the company intends to withdraw an entire procedure, this will be done via the portal. There is a simple request, and so no more exchange of emails and UDRA links on that. In the next slide, I will walk you through the contact explanation. So the communication for centrally approved products marketing authorization holders for procedures. For EMA-led procedures, which include centrally approved products, for these products, you do have a product contact indicated and sent to EMA, and usually you update it via the Ask EMA and the form you are provided with. This contact will be used as a default for communication regarding your IRIS case. So we have a request for the electronic application form to include a tooltip that even if you include there a contact different, still the default is going to be the product, and you will have to change it manually on the portal to include your preferred delegated contact for the respective case procedure in IRIS. What is also important that after the submission is visible, so the case is visible in the industry portal, the default contact can add contributors, managers, and change the contact itself, so more people have access to view the case and to collaborate on it. On the nationally approved products, it's just the principle is the same. It's just a small difference that we don't have a default contact for a product, right? So when you submit a PSUR, let's say, you are asked to provide a contact person for that PSUR for the product. So this will be your default contact for the case, and the rest of the principles are the same. This contact will be the manager and the contact of the case. They can add contributors and other managers and change the contact. So that would be the difference. This is how we get into contact with the nationally approved authorized products contacts and marketing authorization holders via this contact which is provided by you at submission. In the next slide, I would like to emphasize on the actions required for industry by the end of 2024. This is very important because, as mentioned, we will be live with all post-authorization activities in terms of life cycle. So variation, PSURs, renewals, everything what we have today in the post-authorization will be live and working in IRIS for all the centrally approved products. And for the all the other EMA-led procedures, most important PSUSA will be also managed in IRIS. So, but for this reason, all marketing authorization holders, of course, should be registered in OMS. I think this is not a problem. However, for your employees, which are contacts in IRIS or should be contacts for products, they need to have access to IRIS. They need to have the right roles, and this could be should be requested via EMA account management system, so the IAM. And keep your contact information up to date, of course. What is also very crucial is please don't use generic mailboxes. These are not a secure way to communicate. If a delegated contact has, it's appointed, they need to have their role with their personal email address. And if they, let's say, they are out of office, or there is a need to share this information with other contacts, there would be auto-forward rules which you could set up, or in case of emergency, there's each company has at least one administrator which can grant access to another user to their relevant submissions. But everything is written in the IRIS Guide to Registration, and you have also all the instructions provided in the slide, which you'll share with you. A short recap on the platforms and the transition in the next slide. So today we only have, so if we start from upper left corner, we're running only in Iris procedures for selected products submitted after 23 of January 2024. This is something minimal. It's somewhere, I don't know, around 5% of the agency's workload. However, from July, we will also migrate another small fraction of the activities of the products to have their life cycles managed in Iris. Just to enhance our knowledge and our learnings, to make sure that we are very and early prepared for 1st of January 2025, when we'll have all the post-authorization activities. So except for the marketing authorization application, everything in post-authorization will be managed in Iris. Basically, once a product is approved, they will be having their life cycle managed in Iris. So that's the most important milestones where we need your help to be prepared, as described previously. And with this sharp in time, I'm really happy to hand over to my colleague Sarah, who will walk you through one of the most interesting and recently developed processes, which should be one of the Go Live scope in 2025, the periodic safety update reports. Thank you, and looking forward to questions later, Sarah.
Thank you, Madalina, and good morning, everyone. So as Madalina mentioned, at this stage of the webinar, we will talk a bit about the PSUR process and how we are transitioning into the Iris platform. So I'd like to start with some key changes for PSURs. So most importantly, and something really to reiterate and keep in mind, the submission of the PSUR documents is still to be done via the submission gateway and PSUR repository. So that part of the process remains unchanged. So we still have the submissions as you currently have them at the moment. And then, of course, big changes in terms of the case management system. So we're replacing our current database SIMED with Iris. And so both CAP and NAP submissions, and those include your RMP and the DCP products, will be recorded in Iris for the PSUR procedures to be handled by the EMA. And of course, because we are having the NAP data and the NAP products in Iris for our procedure management, there is really a need to have those NAP products registered in PMS, since it's from PMS that Iris is sourcing the product data in order to work on the case. Then also we also have a URD entity, which includes some basic information on the URD list, and this is going to be linked to the case, and will help us to have some information connecting the two. So it's connecting URD and Iris. So this will be both visible on our internal system in Iris CRM, but also in the industry and the network portal, as I'll show you later in the demo. Another change here, also the pharmacovigilance fee system will source the procedure start date from Iris instead of our current database, SciMed, and the PSUR FileMaker. So these two systems, SciMed and PSUR FileMaker, we're no longer using them after we transition the procedures to Iris. And then also another important change for you is that we are slowly getting rid of UltraLink. So any documents related to the PSUR procedure, so your assessment reports, any outcome documents, for example, the PRAC recommendation, all those documents that you are used to receiving by UltraLink, those are now going to be sent via the IRIS industry portal. So you'll have them in your case in the portal, something that I'll also show you later. And of course, the other way around is also applicable. So any document outside of the official submission, any document that currently you would also send via UDRLink to the EMA, there's also functionality for you to send those documents via the industry portal to us. And then just one final point here, which is not directly relevant for industry, but it's important to mention is that the final version of the assessment report is also uploaded in the PSUR repository for record keeping. In the next slide, please. So here we have a brief process flow for the PSUR process, and particularly focusing on the actions relevant for the marketing authorization holders. So of course we start with the submission by industry of the PSUR documents, again done via the gateway, so not through IRIS. We have a moment of checking the documents if they are okay, if they're technically valid, and an opportunity for the market authorization holder to amend any documents if necessary. Then we are keeping the notifications more or less the same as you are used to it now. There might be a bit differences in the text you receive, but the milestones at which you receive the notifications will be the same. So you receive a notification of the submission if the received and of the start of the procedure. And of course, PSUR doesn't have a validation stage, so we move straight to the evaluation stage, which we will manage, as I said before, in our IRIS, in CRM, in our management system. And here, so after the rapporteur finishes with the preliminary assessment report, this document is shared with the marketing authorization holders. So via the industry portal, again, you'll receive a notification every time you will receive a new document. So you are aware that you need to go to the portal to review those documents. Again, there's opportunity to resubmit some missing documents or make another submission. And of course, then to the outcome. So there's no clock stops in the process. And of course, here also, once we have an outcome, another notification is sent to you. And of course, depending on the recommendation, either variation or maintenance, we will have different steps, but as per current process. So we're not changing the process that much from what you are used to. Here also to note that the linguistic review process will remain outside of IRIS. So as per current process, the only difference is at the end. So the final translations, those will be sent by the marketing authorization holder via the industry portal, so that we have them available in IRIS and available both to SEMA and the network. So next slide, I would like now to move to a brief demo of what we've developed so far for the PSUR procedure. So I will share my screen. Moment. And I hope you can see it. All right, so I would like to start with our internal case management system, so IRIS CRM, just to briefly show you the information we have that we currently see internally for a PSUR process. And so first here on the case details tab, we have some information on the submission date, the URD list entry, which is a lookup that I'll show you later some more information. We also have some a section with information on communications, all the emails received or any tasks we receive. Those will be here in this section. And going here into the application details, we have some more information on the procedure. So we have the URD list number, the active substances, the DLP, submission deadline, and the PSUR submission frequency. So this is also exposed in the portal, as I will show you later. We have information on the product type, if we have just a CAP only procedure, if there are CAPs and NAPs involved, or NAPs only. Affected annexes, if there's linguistic review or not. And then here, important, we have the products. So currently, and this is very much the backbone of what we have also for the variations which we already have developed and went live back in January. So we have a section for the centrally authorized products. So you can see in this case, I have 2 products, and please bear in mind that it's UAT, so it's testing environment, so the data, it's not the best, so we have some veterinary products here. So I have 2 products, one of which, so this Simparica, I am the product contact for this product, and then I have another centrally authorized product. And then we have, this is newly developed, so we have another section for the nationally authorized products. And then, of course, the relevant packaged products, so your presentations for each product. Then something new in regards to PSUR process that we've developed is the fact that we have different submission folders. So for these procedures, we can have multiple marketing authorization holders. So having multiple submission folders means that we can share information individually to each marketing authorization holder. So we keep the confidentiality of the information. And this was what I wanted to show you at the moment here in our internal case management system. I would like then to move to the portal. And here I am, so in your submissions, of course, same rationale as for the procedures. When you want to review your ongoing procedures, you can come here to submissions, ongoing submissions. And here you'll have a view, which for now you can filter by the submission type. And you have a view with some information on your current procedures. So you have first the submission number, the type of process, active information on the active substance, the invented name of the product, subject, the marketing authorization holder, and the status of the procedure. So as you can see, I have here my PSUR submission coming from the internal case that we have developed in Iris. As you can see, I only have the submission for Simparica, which I am the contact person for. So the other products, for example, the other centrally authorized products, Simparic Trio, I do not have access to that submission, to that information. So going inside the PSUR case, I would like to show you what you have available. So again, also very similar to variations. You have some information on the procedure number, process category, the process type, what is the start date. Also on the right, you have the information on your timetable. So here we haven't developed yet, but I can show you an example for a variation. So in this main timetable, you have the name of the timetable and the submission date or the deadline for submission. But eventually, once we develop, we have something similar to the variation. So you have a clickable link that once you click, you have access to the different steps of the timetable and the plan date. So you have your timelines here for your procedure. So going back to the PSUR. Something new that we added especially for this process is the URD list information. So have the URD list number, the active substances, DLP, submission deadline, the submission frequency as shown from our internal system. And of course, you have the details on the products. So here the authorization products for caps, the NAPs, and again the presentations. And then at the end, you have information on the resources for your case. You have who is the EMA assistant, the scientific officer, rapporteur, co-rapporteur, and prac rapporteur. So currently, this is what developed in terms of information that you have on your procedure, and that is available to you. Another thing that I would like to show you is the exchange of documents. So, like I said before, documents which fall outside the submission, and especially when we are communicating with you in terms of sharing documents, so sharing the assessment reports, the recommendations, those are done and can be accessed via the industry portal. So here I'm just going to demonstrate. If I go into my internal system, and let's say we have the preliminary assessment report ready for your review. So what we do is we will share the documents with the relevant marketing authorization holders. And here's something new that we've developed is the option to select or to share the documents either to all the marketing authorization holders or to a specific marketing authorization holder if that's the case. So in this case, I'll share it with the one which I'm contact person for. And then, of course, what happens is you will receive a email notification. So you receive something similar to this in your Outlook. So you have a new document information available regarding your case. So it's a generic email that you'll receive. And then next step would be then to go to the portal, into your ongoing submissions, to find the correct procedure. And here on the right, on this drop down, you can click View and Edit Submission. And then here, Documents from EMA. This is where you'll find all the documents that we share with you for the procedure. From here, you can download it to your laptop and keep it for record. So these will always be here, so they won't be deleted. So you always have access to these documents. The other way around is also possible. So if I go back here in the submission form, I also have the option here, documents from applicants, to send documents to the EMA. And in this case, for example, after the linguistic review, when I want to send the final translations of the PI, what I can do is click here, Add Files. Then either you have the option to overwrite existing files. So if there's a file with the same name and you tick it, you overwrite what you have uploaded already. And here you choose the different documents you want to upload. And you just click Open and Add Files. So here you can upload as many as you want. And then once you have all the documents needed, you just can confirm here that you have uploaded all the documents relevant and click Save and Return. So this will also trigger a notification for us. So in this case, going back to the timeline, you'll see that I have a new email to alert me or alert the assistant of the case that a new document has been received by the industry. And this is where then I would be able to check the document. So if I go into my industry submissions and I go to my submission folder, internally I can see input from industry, and I have here the document that I just shared via the portal. And So this is what I would like to show you so far. So we have also worked on the BPF, the business process flow of the procedure for PSURs. So here, depending on the outcome, we'll have different steps in the procedure. So of course, if it's a maintenance, we can go straight to the resolve stage. But for example, if it was a PRAC recommendation for a variation, then we would have a few more steps to go through with the procedure. And then, of course, ending in the outcome stage, where we'll have some information. So this will also be shared with you eventually once developed. And another development we did specifically for PSUR, well, of course, we're going to reuse it for the procedures, is the option to record different committee votes. So since we have different committees, this is also something that is good to have. And then at the end, of course, for the EC decision, for now, you will still receive it via e-drilling from the European Commission. And this is also where we would be able to record that information. Also relevant here in the portal, and just like the rest of the procedures, so variations, transfers, you have the option to manage your contributors and your managers. So here you have the option to view manage contributors, view manage managers, and submission contacts. So you also are able to change your portal contact. So your contact person for this specific procedure. Well, you are able to do it via these options. And this is what I'd like to show you for now. It's what we developed so far for PSUR. So I'll stop sharing my screen and go back to the presentation for the next steps. And I guess, Katerina, I can, are you sharing? Okay, good. Thank you. So coming up, next steps, what we have planned so far is, of course, the public system demos that we regularly have. So the next one will be on the 26th of June, and we'll have another one at the end of September, and another one in December, so they're quarterly. And then we have planned a training session for marketing position holders for these new procedures. That training session is planned to be scheduled in November this year. Also in November, we'll have an update of our user guide with some with information on the new processes that were developed, so PSUR, PAMS, and so on, and also an update on the FAQ document. And we are also planning, so after the go live, we are also planning to do some Q&A clinics. So first quarter of 2025. So you have an opportunity to go to these sessions and ask your questions and doubts. Next slide, please. All right, and just to give you a roadmap of what we planned in terms of change management for this EPIC 2. So in relation to this post-authorization procedures. So of course, today we have this update session for industry, and later on you'll receive a survey, so you can share with us some feedback. This will be useful for us to see where we're going and what we're missing. As I said, we will have almost at the end of June a system demo with some of the latest developments. And of course, we'll start working in July on the update of the FAQ document. Very important is that in September, as Madalena mentioned, we'll have the user acceptance testing with our industry SMEs for the new processes. Another system demo at the end of September. And in October, we'll start working on the update of the user guide and another second update on the FAQ document. We'll have a training session for industry end of October, beginning of November. And of course, very important, we're planning the second rollout of the procedures for the RMP project at the end of December. And after that, of course, we'll have the Q&A clinics for industry to help you with this transition of the new procedures. Again, also, as we learn with experience, as we go live and as we have the procedures ongoing in the new system, we'll have also the chance to improve the user guide and the FAQ document with any other questions or to clarify any topics that might come up. And also in March, we'll have another survey to check on the progress and check how the transition is going. Next slide, please. And I would just like to leave you here with some resources for these procedures in IRIS. So of course you have the IRIS forum, where you can find the latest news on the project, on the RPF project, and also a place where you can post your questions. You also have the FAQ document, so some questions and answers on the transition of the post-authorization procedures to IRIS. You also have, of course, the user guide, which is very important that you are familiar with, and where you will find the specific instructions how to use the portal. So how to also find your procedures, how to add contributors, how to add managers. All that information is in this user guide. And of course, you have here the IRIS email. So if you have any specific question or related to a specific procedure, you can send us an email and we'll reach out to you to help you with any question. And I guess I go back to Katerina.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, so now it's time to answer your questions. We'll go to Slido and we'll respond live. We must have voted once. Okay, starting from the first question. Is the MAH contact person the same for variations, Article 61.3, PSUR, SUSA?
I can take this one. I've already replied to the question. Yes, so it for centrally approved products, we do keep the product contact, the default one, as a submission contact on the industry portal. And for nationally approved products, if they are part of an EMA-led procedure, they will have the possibility to indicate, or they will be requested to indicate a contact when submitting their PSUR, let's say, or their ECTD sequence. Yeah, that's the short answer.
Okay, thanks. Okay, next. If no mailboxes are allowed, how can we guarantee business continuity? It could be possible to add backup addresses.
So to date, we are providing a lot of flexibility. Basically, the default contact is a manager for that procedure and has the ability to add more users as managers and contributors. These users have access to the case. However, it's only one contact at the time who receives notifications. That's only about notification. The current contact, so the default one, and any other manager on the submission has the ability to change the case contact. In cases of, let's say, lack of access to that case, the administrator of, the organization administrator for IRIS can grant access to other users. And another option the marketing authorizations have is to set their own auto forward rules for iris originated emails. That's well, there are quite few options, and we believe these are sufficient. Of course, if we discover more opportunities to improve this, we will work with the industry, and we have our industry subject matter experts who are collaborating with us, so we could expand on these options.
Thank you. Which kind of access permission the MAH contact person should have?
I've linked the guide to registration for IRIS. They will have a manager role in IRIS to be able to perform the actions I mentioned before.
Thank you. When will you inform the MAH whether his product has been confirmed for the second rollout in July 2024?
We are already in contact with them, and in the next week or so, we will finalize the list and confirm the products. But the contact persons of the products we selected or we narrowed down are already in a communication with our team.
Thank you. Do we have to change the contact person's email address registered at EMA in order that the communication via IRIS can work, as we currently have registered a generic email address as EMA contact?
Well, you should change the SAMED contact to a personal email address, and this will work for IRIS too.
Thank you. Who will be contacted by EMA for the communication of the enrollment in the rollout?
The default product contact is for SAMED.
Thank you. Will NAPS be eventually managed by IRIS as well, or will it always be only CAPS?
NAPS are subject to case management in IRIS just and only if they are part of an EMA-led procedure, like APSUSA with NAPS. That's more frequent, and I think this is quite widespread, but it's only for those procedures, so it's not a full life cycle managed for NAPS.
Okay. From interactions that I have had with IRIS emails, the product name, product number doesn't appear anywhere in the subject main body of the email. You only get the long code. Is it possible to add the product name to the subject to aid clarity?
Yeah, I guess I can take this one. In this, so we have the emails that we have created and developed specifically for our processes do have the product name and the procedure number in the subject and the main body of the email. But I guess you are referring to the general email you receive once we share documents with industry. So this email is a general email that's used by it's across the system, so it is used by multiple processes. So it can be hard to adapt to our specific processes, but we'll keep in mind the feedback.
Thank you. Next, could you please advise how to access the SAMED contact persons list? It would be very useful to have a chance to check if the SAMED list corresponds to the MAH contact person list.
Usually the marketing authorization holder really knows what are the contacts for SAMED. You may want to check the EMA website or send a ticket or via Ask EMA in case you have this request, and this will be well handled via that route. But of course, we could maybe think before the go live to contact the MAHs. That would be maybe a good idea to ensure you have a good overview on the contacts you've communicated to EMA. Thank you for this question.
Thank you. If a PSUR procedure has only NAP, so no caps, will it still use the IRIS system?
Yes. Yes, because it's an EMA-led procedure.
Okay. Thank you. Which MAH will you need to have IRIS access for if you submit a PSUR for CAPs and NAPs with different MAHs? Will you need to have access to all MAHs?
Yes. So for all each product will have a contact. So it's not only all MAHs, it's per product per submission, because this is how you submit, right? You don't submit in bulk the sequences, as far as I know. So you need to include in the PSUR repository a contact for each submission. So each product submitted will have its own submission overview in IRIS. So if you are a MAC which has 10 products, you'll have 10 submissions, and you will receive the relevant documents for each product on the portal.
Thank you. Are you going to share these slides on meeting registration? So I can respond to that. The slides will be published in 1 or 2 days on the event webpage on EMA website. The recording will take some days more, and it will be published on EMA YouTube channel and then on the event webpage on EMA website. Thank you. Next. How is the MAH contact person for NAP communicated or changed?
So communicated would be when you have to record the contact for the submission. Today it's also happening for the PSUR repository, so it's similar. But then you could change it on the portal. So the same contact which is indicated at the submission will be the case contact in IRIS. And they will have the option or the possibility to change the contact, so themselves with someone else, set more users which are managers for the case. Those managers can also change the contact of the case. And in case of, I don't know, emergency, if there's no other manager and let's say the contact is it's off for a leave and cannot be contacted, the administrator for EMA IRIS will be able to grant access to other users. But you need to have that in place. So you need to have all this. You need to have an administrator for IRIS and some users, and the contact you indicate needs to have access to IRIS. And secondly, I want to also ensure you have this information. It's already on the slides. Please revisit the slides once they are published. The most important information is there, and we will ensure to communicate this soon enough on our on IRIS portal and or EMA website, so that all the information is there, because we do understand this is crucial and information and needs to be accessible.
Thank you. Will the process for requesting the contact person change, be transferred to IRIS in the future? The current process via the form doesn't allow the MAH to check in real time if EMA has the correct name assigned for each product.
Well, that's in the plan. So currently we do not have that option, but the idea would be that you as an MAH could manage your contacts in IRIS and have a good overview there. So this is a very good question again. Thank you.
Thank you. Industry concerns are shared in the new procedure number structure and number only available after submission. Result is additional admin burden or rework, so change in route, update dossier, resubmit. It seems that the concern impact for industry is not taken into account.
I would really like to have more insights on this question. So I don't know if you could share details in another one, or maybe send us an email at iris at emaeuropa.eu. Maybe that would be something, if you would like to share your experience, and we will consider it in the development. But in the end, there is quite some information in the portal, and we could also change, for example, the email title structure so it's suitable for your needs, and also we could share the template how we are building for example, the email subject. So what are the pieces, so the essential mappings, so that you could maybe work it out in your systems, also remap it there. But the idea is that we are now working only with very low number of procedures. From 2025, everything except the marketing authorization application will be running in Iris, so you won't have to deal with two systems or to do two numbering systems anymore. So that's maybe something which also helps. Transition is basically minimal.
Thank you. Next, when is planned the rollout for national procedure management in Iris?
So we will only roll out procedures for nationally approved products if they are EMA-led, for example, SUSA containing NAPs, and this will be happening from 1st of January 2025. So 1st of January, it's a big milestone for all of us.
Thank you. Madalina mentioned an update to EAF to add a tooltip. Could you please confirm this is for valuations EAF, both human and vets? Thanks.
Yes, so I'm working with the product owner from the EF just to make sure we have a tooltip. So now it's not that critical, but it has to be available before January 2025, so that you understand that even if you include another contact in the EF, this will not be really considered. So you need to retype it in or change it in the Iris portal. But that's not really intuitive, so we need to include this tooltip, because the EF, it's of course common for both CAPS and NAPS, and we need to have this especially for NAPS included. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Can you clarify what you mean by a lead MAH for payment-related activities? Does this mean that only one invoice will be sent to that MAH, even if we have multiple MAHs in the work-sharing procedure?
I think this is the case also now, by the way. So the process doesn't change, but we do need to have... so what's the difference with Iris is that we are taking the marketing authorization as customer for fees from one of the products. So we do need to have that match, that this product is a lead which has the marketing authorization holder of the EF. That's why we need to indicate, and it needs to be the same for the lead product, but the payment doesn't really change. It's more to ensure that we have chosen the right product, which is the mark of the company you want to, or you want to be invoiced.
Thank you. Next, how will linguistic review for procedures happen? Will it occur via Iris?
So far not. It will stay via email, how it's already set up, but at the end of the linguistic review, the marketing authorization holder will have to submit the translations via the Iris portal, so no more UDRALink. So we receive it and then we forward it to the commission.
Thank you. How is it possible to change the MAH contact person?
I've linked, we have a link in the presentation. It's how to, I think it's on slide, give me a second. It's on slide 12, and notifying EMA of changes to contact person.
Thank you. Can the person who is the contact point change in the EAF section 2.4.3 change the portal contact to someone else, even if they remain the contact point on EAF section 2.4.3?
Yes, so this person will be the default for a given submission, right, for a given case. However, they can go on the portal after the case is created and change only for that procedure to someone else. So basically, the indicating in the EF is no longer needed because you could just do it yourself and choose. That's basically you're authorized to change the contact via portal.
Thank you. When a notification is sent in Iris, do VMAH contact point receive an email?
Right? Yes. Sarah.
Yes.
They get, right.
I know, no further comment. Okay, let's go to the next question. During PSUR, the response from the applicant will have to be uploaded by each MAH for each license on Iris, not anymore via the PSUR repository. Is that correct?
No. So if it's an ECTD submission, has to be done in the repository. Only if you have documents which you used to share via UDRA link, those can be uploaded via Iris. So don't send us an ECTD sequence because that's not correct via the Iris portal. You need to submit it via the repository.
Thank you. How does VMAH access SIMED?
Well, the MH doesn't access SIMED. SIMED is the current procedure management system. So it's the old Iris to say so. You cannot access it. And that's the improvement with Iris because now you have the visibility on the procedures running, whereas whatever is managed now via SIMED is not really visible. You only receive the outcome documents and communication via email or UDRA link.
Okay, thank you. Will the MAHs be informed once their products are migrated in Iris?
Yes, not once, but also before. We're in contact. But for as of 1st of January 2025, everyone is going to be. So we could have, maybe we could think about Katerina having like a mass email just to warn everyone that it's going to happen. So maybe it's a good idea to inform you, but just that you know, from 1st of January, everyone will work together with us via Iris.
Thank you. At this moment, should MAHs of NAPS do any particular actions regarding substances and or organizations for their products?
Well, we just need to make sure the data in OMS is really accurate. So if you can cross-check your companies and have the location IDs and everything correct there, I think that's really, or it doesn't happen that you have, I don't know, duplications or other, inconsistency, that would be of great help. This is what we are learning now with OMS. It's not always that straightforward. But if you could also look into it, and I'm going to keep this question aside to see if there is any other action you could help us with, and then we can come back to you.
Okay, thank you. Will Iris submission be mandatory also for veterinary NAP, DCP, MRP, new marketing authorization and validation? If yes, from when? Thank you.
Maybe I take this one. So just to clarify that the submission is still to be done via the gateway. So we do not have Iris submissions for the variation. So if you do have a work sharing procedure with NAPS process, so you still have to have the Annex B document, and we're currently working with UPD in terms of having the NAP data available to use in our system.
Okay, thank you. Will post-approval procedures for EUM for all Article 58 products also be in scope of the Iris rollout?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Can you clarify what documents the MAH will upload to Iris for a PSUR procedure?
So, for example, if you have some draft document, let's say it's a PSUR with outcome variation, right? You need to change your label. Then there is this process of back and forth, maybe, or a draft document send, and doesn't really require ECTD immediately. That can be exchanged via the IRIS portal. So that's really like other documents you would typically send via UDRA link. It's not always that frequent for all procedures, but it may happen. So it's don't send it attached because it's not going to reach us.
Okay, thank you. Work sharing procedure number was changed after submission, resulting in resubmission. In the gateway, to create the file, the drop-down menu listed the old work sharing number as well as the IRIS generated number, which results in confusion.
Well, we did have some situation because of the overlapping of the after go live, but I think you were instructed to use the new number, right? I think Sarah, you also had such a situation.
Yeah.
Recently.
Exactly. So we had some situations where we just before the go live, right? The submission was submitted before, and we weren't able to create the case in advance because the system wasn't live yet. But for now, you should have your work share number in advance before your submission.
Okay, thank you. In the past, even if we submit the form to keep the contact person list updated, when we checked via service desk, the list in SAMET didn't correspond. There should be an easy way to check the list because for IRIS, it's crucial.
That's correct. So we'll ensure that we'll also need to do some development towards, well, after 2025 to improve this process and also ensure that the contacts are updated promptly so that we don't have any issue with this. Maybe if there is any, well, if you have any issues or you are unsure, just let us know before. So, for example, if you have changed your contact just before you submitted something, maybe it's a good idea to let us know. I mean, currently you could contact any of us, so even myself. You have at the end of the slides my contact. Otherwise, you could just write to submission registration. They are dealing with also this. Just until we maybe have more, well, we learn a bit more. We didn't really quite have such cases. So if it happens that you change the contact, just let us know to also understand the timing between the when you send the update and when it really reaches SAMED. And that would also trigger probably some actions from our end.
Okay, thank you. Next, if UDRA is, should we expect a deadline for expiry of the gateway for submissions?
No, this is not in the roadmap yet. So we gateway stays the same for the foreseeable future. I understand where you come from, but we don't have anything in the roadmap so far. Gateway is there to stay for the time being because it has also it does multiple other things. So it's an important component of our systems. Thank you.
Thank you. In your demo, you showed that we could select product packagings. For now products, packages in PMS won't be necessarily available as the NIH have been recently instructed to add additional pack sizes. Has this been taken into consideration?
Yeah, I can take this one. Just to clarify, so on the industry portal, you only have a way to view the products and packages, so you're not able to select the different packaging. So this occurs on our side when we create the case. In terms of the NAPS products, I think for us the most important is to have the information on the product itself. So this information on packaging will take into consideration this information you just gave to us. but yes, we're working with the product owner for PMS, and we're currently seeing how we are managing the NAPs in Iris.
Okay, thank you. Next question. When do CAPs begin submitting PSURs via Iris instead of the PSUR submission portal?
There is no plan to change the submission process, so please submit. This is related also to the gateway, right? PSUR repository stays in place as well. So submission of your ECTDs always takes place on the current platform you are using. Either is gateways, PSUR repository, use the same tools. It's Iris we only use for the case management, so that's post submission. A case is created based on a submission received from the gateway or PSUR repository. So that's the process. I know it's a bit confusing because all other processes submit via Iris, but in terms of product lifecycle, we do have ECTD, which is a structured format, and it's actually way more complex in terms of metadata and size. And as you know, there are a lot of validation rules, and there's a validation process which is carried by and via the gateway, and that needs to stay, and the PSUR repository, and that needs to stay in place. So just the gateway and the PSUR repository are more complex components, which we will keep for the foreseeable future. So until further notice, to say so.
Okay, thank you. If FutureLink is to be phased out, but linguistic review is not to be handled in Iris, how will linguistic review be handled in future, and when will this future be?
So to date, I don't know if Sonia, you are connected. To date, we are going to keep at least the communication with the EMA via the portal, but in terms of communication between the MAH and the member states dealing with translation, that it's outside Iris for this. It's kept as is, right? So today you will going to communicate and get feedback on your translations. And once that process is finalized, you will submit via Iris the translations to EMA at day 25, which will eventually also be part of the closing sequence in ECTD, which will be submitted via the gateway.
Okay, thank you. As responses sequences should still be submitted via PSUR repository, can you update slide 18? Because from this slide, it looks like all responses are expected to be submitted in Iris.
Maybe we can update, because it might be a bit misleading since we have Iris on the top of the slide. We can make a little note there that the submissions of the responses are through the PSUR.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you. Comment. Kindly note the number of comments regarding the use of generic group functional email addresses, but do not seem to have a related security issue for the MAHs that did set them up.
Well, I hope we address that, and there is actually, well, a principle that due to security issues, we are not accepting the functional mailboxes. But to reiterate, there are a number of tools here in place to support you, from Iris portal to possibility to change the context to auto forward rules. This is a chapter which is, or a topic which is widely discussed also with the security IT teams at EMA, and the fact that you are allowed to share with multiple users a mailbox or think about this means in principle that user shares, or that email address is shared in terms of password by multiple users, and that's really not a secure way to deal with the data which we are working with and collaborating with you. But you have a lot and many tools to make sure the submission is accessible. This is just the rule for one for communication, for the emails you receive. However, you have managers and contributors which you could set to your submissions, auto forward rules also in place. So it's a wide range of tools.
Thank you. Could you please look at a way, for example, industry admin, to get visibility to list of all very MAHX contacts in real time?
We just discussed that part where we well, you could request it via the Ask Emma, so the service desk. If you need to get that list, usually you should have an overview. But we also agree that we are thinking to contact the MAHs just to let them know that this is the email, which is contact for your product, and also giving you instructions on the the go live taking place on 1st of January 2025.
Okay,
But the responsibility is also, like, I have to reiterate, responsibility is really with you, and I trust and I think most of the MAHs do have the contacts in place. So, but yeah, it's good to have a double check.
okay, thank you. What will happen in procedure communication when a procedure will start at the end of 2024 and continues over 2025? Will we receive a communication by IRIS from 1st of January?
No, so everything what was submitted before January 2025, except for the products we selected on this year, will be carried on in the system it started. So if we started the procedure in 2024, or it was submitted before 1st of January 2025, it will be managed in SIMED, and you'll receive the UDRA links and the communication you're used to until the end of that procedure.
Okay, thank you. So we have 5 minutes. Before we go ahead with questions, we just wanted to tell you we've opened a survey, a really quick survey for you to rate this webinar. Let us know how satisfied you are with it, just with this rating question. And then you can also leave additional feedback on the session, anything, any suggestion or improvement, or just to tell us that you're happy. So yeah, take your time to fill this survey, a couple of minutes. Please do that, because it will be really useful for us. And yeah, in this last 4 minutes, let's go back to our Q&A. So next question. Will we still contact mockups and specimens team via email, post, or will that be via IRIS as well?
We try to keep the current processes as they are. However, we need to come back to you to this one, because I did have a discussion with the colleagues of mockups and specimens, and I do want to understand if anything but sent by email or UDRA link can be included in the case. However, there are also circumstances I've been made aware where there's not a case related a mock-up specimen review, so that is something which cannot be connected to IRIS itself, or at least not immediately.
Thank you. At submission, PO number needs to be confirmed in EAF. However, applicant can no longer link map the PO number at creation to the procedure number as not yet available. This is a real concern for the applicant.
I'm not sure what you mean, because you also don't have procedure number available now. They are generated, so you're not requested to add. It's a field in the EAF, but you're not requested to have it mandatory. You will include the PO number in your EAF, and then you could link it once you receive you'll receive an invoice and you'll receive a procedure number once the case is created. But maybe if you want to give us a little bit more details, please use the iris@emaeuropa.eu or write a comment and we'll come back to you just to understand exactly what was the issue.
Okay, thank you. Will the responses to those questions be published somewhere? So we will collect the responses to the most voted questions, and we'll see how many they are, and we will either update the FAQ with these questions or directly publish a Q&A document on the event webpage to make things shorter. So we'll go to the next one. The poll disappeared. Okay, so let me check. Yeah, it seems it was deactivated. That's odd, but you can now see it again. Thank you for noticing that. Is the public system demo from June 26th with the same content as what was shared today? Sorry, but please respond.
We do plan to show relevant content for the industry in this demo. So we have some development, some functionalities in development, but anyways, in the system demo, we will reiterate some of the information we have today for sure, because it's we need to use every opportunity to inform you about the contacts and all these changes which are relevant for us. And the demo will contain probably parts of the PSUR, but also parts of industry portal, which we hope will be finalized still in less than 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you. I think we can answer one last question. For variations, will you still request the work sharing number in advance?
Yes, because we do need to link the submission. So if you have more than one product, you still need to do the same. It's the same process. You'll just receive this EMA/VR number, which you need to refer it in your submission, in your delivery files. And the rest of questions we could definitely respond in writing. PO number is purchase order number because it's a short.
Okay, maybe since there's a really last one.
Yes.
So we can.
Yes, is it possible to change? Yeah.
Contact person. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it's possible to change it via the portal. So yes.
Okay, perfect. So we can say that we answered all questions. Thank you very much, Madalina and Sarah. And thank you all for participating. I leave you over to you, Madalina, for closing.
No, this was a great opportunity to interact, and we do plan more of these interactions this year and probably in the future. Thank you for your time and for the questions. It's a great feedback. We have food for thought now because we got plenty of interesting questions and a lot of interest from you. See you at the system demo. Thanks for your time and have a great day.
Thank you. And please respond to the survey. Really helpful.